make sure that the VODs are good and I can actually put them on YouTube instead of just relying on my Twitch channel to keep them. And yeah, just really, really glad that this is a service that people are enjoying. And here we are. Here's pick ban for Game 3. No roster swaps for either side. Nothing new. Not sure what Vici's sub situation is, but YG, like, they seem to have found their footing somewhat with Lugo in the top lane. So I'm excited for this. So, no change in ban 1. I don't get my Thresh replacement. So, alright, those are the same 4 bans as last time. What changes here? Nothing changes from YG. Why? And yeah, of course they're gonna first pick the Syndra. You just banned Fizz! We haven't touched Fizz this series! I'm so confused. Yeah, of course it's Syndra first pick now. Now, Vici's gonna get Caitlyn and Lee Sin or Lulu? Caitlyn, Lee Sin. Okay, that's fine. YG can get Lulu, and they can get, you know, take Jhin Zyra, actually. Take Jhin Zyra right now. Take that bottom lane that worked so well for you. Done. This is some pretty tragic pick ban by Vici. I loved it. So, in the defense, I loved Vici's pick ban last time when they did this, right? I was hugely impressed with the pick ban to get YG down to the Jhin last time. Okay, now that your bot lane's gotten wrecked by it, perhaps not let them do exactly the same thing. Okay? So, now Vici's got the Shen. That's a new element to this. So, Lung is going to go away from the Rumble, away from... I forgot what he played in Game 1 already, but he's going to get himself onto a tank. And now... Oh, yeah, he played Galio Game 1 and got kind of wrecked. So, got Shen. Now, what are the 2 bans going to be into Shen? Because, obviously, Lugo is going to be fine playing carries. We get the Fiora banned away. I feel like they should ban the Kennen. Yeah, that's the next ban. And then YG are going to ban out Orianna. And this is what's so funny about this, right? You have to give such priority to the top lane bans because you picked Shen that YG are going to be able to get any of Graves or Elise or Ivern on second rotation, which on after second ban phase, which is totally absurd in the current meta. Like, Graves, Elise, Ivern, take your pick. You have 3 of the top 4 junglers away, and Lee Sin's the one's already picked. The fact that you have to ban away the carry top laners is so... And yeah, they're going to get the Elise, which, great pick. And yeah, bring out that Renekton. It's not banned. I don't know. I think I would have maybe banned the Renekton instead of the Fiora and made him show you the Fiora. But... boy. Yeah, and then I haven't even, like... I can criticize that, but now we've got Leona. And I think we've seen how melee supports into Zyra tend to do. But this is... So we've seen the Leona pick happen a couple of different times in a couple of different regions, right? And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen it on 7.9. We have seen a draft where Lulu has gone unpicked and unbanned. Tell the world. Lulu. No Lulu anywhere. That's absurd to me. Like... Alright, so, this is a Leona pick for Caveman. Now, Leona in lane with Ignite. This is the level 2 all-in a squishy support. So, we better be looking at bot lane at level 2, and we need to see... Are Martin and Caveman going to be able to get that first minion dead to get their level 2 before Alone in Destiny? Because if the Grasping Roots comes in and the disengage happens from Destiny, Leona's just going to sit there and get poked out the entire game. So, man. I went from loving Vici's draft to hating Vici's draft. Because, I mean, it's comfort picks all across the board. An aggressive early game jungler. One of the better junglers out there in the current meta. And you basically let YG have everything they wanted, and took Leona for some reason. So, God, I've been ranting so much that, chat, tell me what Easyheen's playing. Is he on Orianna? That should be better than Syndra, or better than Vladimir into Syndra. No, he's on Victor. Okay. Alright, well, wave clear. And team fighting. I hate Vici's draft. Oh boy, yeah, okay, and then and then what? Yeah, YG banned Oriana, second rotation. So I guess you'd rather this than was Talia banned in second rotation? I just hate this draft from Vici. And now what? Watch. Last game, I really didn't understand YG's draft and they crushed the game. And this game, I really, really hate Vici's draft and they're gonna crush the game. Just watch, just watch. Like that's how this has been working. So now, Leona's gonna have her. We'll see what Leona scales level 1. If she has the stun, it's going to give her a little more threat in these level 1 skirmishes if they're going to go in as a big 4-man stack. They don't find anything. Zyra backs out after taking one resonating strike, and that's not going to do anything. But, boy, this early game is going to be so crucial for this bot lane, because if Caveman and Martin don't get ahead early in this lane, Leona's just going to sit there and die. As that turret shot? Okay, it's not a turret shot, but it is going to get the bouncing grenade. So, pretty good level 1 harass, but it is Martin and Caveman doing a pretty good job of preventing the Zyra's passive seedlings from going in bad places to prevent some extra damage. Looks like the start for Lee Sin's going to be on his Raptors and not going to have any problems from invades. Nothing moving at that minute 30. We've seen some minute 30 invades onto the red side Raptors, but that's not going to happen this game, and that should be a nice easy start for Crash on these. Looks like no pressure happening from him. And Syndra is not going to commit as much mana to shove before Victor can get back to the wave, so that's a nice calm early start. Okay, here's the bot lane. Zyra gets a nice little bit of harass with the Q. Caveman's just going to get auto-attacked. But it looks like the early push is going in favor of Caitlyn and Leona. Now, it's 3 minions to hit level 2 in this lane. And they're not getting poked out too badly level 1. So, if they can get this level 2 all in, it's going to be crucial. So now, I think they want to start auto-attacking this as early as possible. Yeah, Martin's going to get up and get a Piltover Peacemaker onto the wave. And we'll see how fast they can kill these 3 minions to hit level 2, and if Caveman can position well. Honestly, like, Destiny should be really careful, even if just ready to flash. There's 1 minion, there's 2. Okay, here's level 3, there's level 2 for them, and now, yeah, Caveman's already walking up, going to take a huge bit of a rest. Now, not going to take the key. Yeah, and then, alright, no big level 2 all in, which is fine because YG were pushed back under the turret. Aggressive trading in the mid lane, Easy Hoon getting a nice big death ray onto tank. Looks like a little bit of a health advantage. I wish I could see numbers of biscuits on the overlay to see who's ahead in kind of the potion trade, with both of them obviously starting Doran's rings. And this looks like here's Elise and Crash is here too. Caveman's gonna go all the way in and flash out. Okay, here's Crash trying to turn this around. Now, Yotu has flash, can get out. He's gonna repel up and get down. Alone's at about 100 health. There's a Q landed onto Yotu. A lot of auto attacks. Crash with the juke. Reactivate the Q immediately into doubling back. Now, if they stay under this turret, Alone is super low and has no summoner spells. That's all 4 summoner spells down for the YG bot lane. Lugo gets taunted down and takes a turret shot. Nice taunt from Lung there, but we see already, looking at the top lane, 10 CS lead for Renekton. So, now, Crash is working his way into the enemy jungle. Is going to take some opportunity to do this. Looks like Tank has taken some unfavorable trades and has burned his way through all of his potions, while Easy Hoon is up on health and still has a cookie left. So, looks like Easy Hoon's doing better in these early trades, but has been prioritizing trading over farm since he's down by about 8 CS already. So, Crash is going to spot out Yotu and is going to get there a little bit after, but now the YG bot lane is going to be in a little bit of danger if the wave goes in. It looks like Jin's going to finish his recall, and they're not going to choose to dive that tower. But, okay. Stepping back after all these things happened. No summoner spells at all in bot lane on either side. Flash down for Crash, not a flash down for Yotu. And Martin and Caveman do have an early lead, but again, grasping roots gets a little bit of a heal, but he's just going to sit here and trade with plants. That's not how you win lanes with Zyra. Oh, tilt. You just walk away from the plants. You don't try and kill the plants. So, man. So, it looks like to this point, there's going to be about a 6 CS lead if Alone can pick up all these minions, which he should be able to do, for the bottom lane of Vici after this early game, which is pretty okay. And Caitlyn is able to push harder than Jhin until Jin's bouncing grenade is able to clear waves a lot more quickly just because of the difference in auto attack speed. Yeah, and Caveman, again, like I questioned last game with him staying around alone. He's not actually going to be able to take any of those minions. It looks like Martin's back in time to only miss one of those farm, but I don't get. I guess you're comfortable 1v2ing that lane. Now, Lugo's been pushed up aggressively the whole lane. This time, Vici might finally be punishing it for it. Flash up by Loon, matched by the flash of Lugo, and he's going to get out safely. But that's the thing, is Lugo has always been pushing in all 3 of these games. Like, Alright, Yotu's going to be here aggressively stealing away some wolves. Caveman, I don't think is going to see him, so he's going to be able to recall easily. Yeah, nobody's collapsing on him, so he's going to be able to get out of that. Yep. And Crash is going to walk in a little bit carefully and realize that his camp is gone and feel a little bit sad inside. That's unfortunate, but is what happens when junglers. So, looking across the board, hey look, there's an enormous CS lead in top lane for Luguo. Stop me if you've seen this before. Luguo playing an aggressive early game pick, like Renekton, which he's played a bunch, and developing an early big lead for himself. And this time, like, it's into a tank matchup, so it's even a little more expected than like in a, well, it's been, I guess you'd expect this even more than you might expect it with the Galio, but I think his kill pressure is going to be less than it was in the Galio matchup. And Shen's going to equalize this to only about 10 as he pushes the wave into the tower, but this is still, like, Lugo again carving out a lead in the early game, which has been which continues to be something that YG have to rely on. And so, looks like bottom lane's still going pretty well for Martin and Caveman, who are doing better in this lane this time than they did the last time. So, yeah, maybe I don't know anything and Leona's fine in this. Oh, okay, hits the combo onto Alone, but turns out Martin was kind of just losing the trade with Destiny there. And now, oh, nice flash in. That's first blood for Leona, but the 4th shot's going to trade it right back. So, alright, Caitlyn ult's going to put Alone right about to 200 health, and Martin kind of wants this, but is not going to come too aggressively. Looks like there's no jungler retention down here, so alright. Alright, now, YG had a really bad dive last time. Diving a Shen is always hard. It looks like here comes Syndra. Lugo's going to walk in, dive. He's going to take turret aggro first. He doesn't have a way to reset this. He's going to die. So, 1 for 1. Why? Okay, so what I've learned from this series are YG are really bad at prioritizing who's tanking tower when they have dives. Last game we had the bot lane both dying to taking tower aggro. This game we have the Renekton who's at half health run in and tank the tower instead of the Elise who can reset tower aggro. Questionable. So, well, we've had 2 1-for-1 trades across the map. Jhin got the kill in the bot lane over Leona getting the kill, which is a favorable result for OG. Now, Caveman's roamed his way up to mid lane here, but it looks like Tank's not going to... I feel like EasyHoon might be pushing that wave a little bit hard to draw out the roam. So now Tank's going to walk his way... I don't know. I felt like EasyHoon was pushing the wave too hard, but if he doesn't push hard enough, that shows that helps there. I don't know. That roam kind of didn't do very much by Caveman, but fair enough. Gets him out of the lane for a little bit. Caitlyn does still have a lead in the game. If we look at the itemization, looks like Jhin might need a back. Yeah, but Caitlyn has BF Sword and Pickaxe already, so the Caitlyn's going to hit like a truck, whereas Jhin only has the Pickaxe and the Doran's Shield plus boots. So Caitlyn should be winning auto attack trades pretty significantly in the bottom lane. So... Alright, cool. And looks like Renekton's going to be well on the way to hitting a black cleaver up, first item probably. Makes tons of sense. Crash is going to aggressively invade here. Going to eat a stun and a lot of damage from tank and is going to live with 100 health. Nice potion pop. And now Yotu is going to repel to nothing. Meanwhile, nice block from Destiny. Destiny's going to die for that, but okay. Now, alright, Caveman's out of range. Martin is going to eat shot number 3 and dodge shot number 4. So, nice block from Destiny, but he wasn't going to live through that, so makes it one kill instead of 2. So Martin and Caveman making this aggressive bottom lane work and not just getting harassed out of lane. So again, we know nothing. So Crash is down here. Looks like he's going to start off this dragon. Let's take a look at the replay of what happened bottom lane. So Martin eats a root and Destiny moves in aggressively, but Alone just takes so much damage. Yeah, and then just stunned up, tons of Leona damage under the turret, and nothing you can do about that. So, and that's going to be first turret for the bottom lane that we didn't trust to lose this lane last time, so we know nothing. And Crash is going to solo out an Ocean Drake to start off the game, and we're going to have an Infernal Drake coming up next, which is good for Vici, who now are going to be able to have some more control over that bottom side jungle. Moving forward with their early first turret take. Yep, and Caitlyn and Leona are already on their way towards top lane. And the thing was, like, the thing we kind of forget with Leona being such an aggressive diver is that with a Shen on the team, she has so much more functional health for diving into teams, because Leona as a support isn't really able to get aggressive things. Oh, and Yotu's in huge trouble. There's the stun. There's so much CC. Goodbye. Elise can't repel her way out of everything, especially with... Oh, she has flash, but probably still wasn't getting away from that. But taunt into Leona stun. But back to the previous point. With a Shen on the team, Leona has so much more functional. That is a... sort of kind of... Oh, that was through Shen ult. Okay. That Cinder ult did even more damage than I thought it was because it was through Shen ult. Nice reaction time by Lung if it was. At least I think it was. I didn't see the shield ever come through on that, and there was suddenly a Shen there, so I'm assuming it was through that. Destiny's going to pop the blast cone away from the Resonating Strike of Lee Sin, so we can't finish up the second part of that queue. But, okay. I'm going to keep trying to talk about Shen and Leona. So, Leona can dive deeper with a little less fear if the Stand United is up, because she'll be able to survive for longer in fights than she otherwise would. Oh, that's a Leona ultimate to disrupt a recall? Okay. How long's the cooldown on that? Alright. Yeah, but Leona can dive in more aggressively than she might otherwise be able to now that Shen is 6. So actually, that synergy is one I hadn't thought about in the pick ban, and now that they've survived the early game in this lane, that's a really interesting adaptation to the team fight, because what does Leona bring, right? She brings so much CC to a team. She has the root from her E, the stun from her Q, the stun and slow from her ultimate, and if she can get in the team fight, get all those abilities off onto priority targets with follow-up from Shen, that's, like, that can be hugely impactful on getting onto priority targets like the Jhin, like the Syndra. Now, again, I said this again last game. Now, I don't know what Crash is doing. He just kind of do-si-doed his way around the river with Rift Herald there for, like, 30 seconds and didn't really do damage to it, so that was fun. But... yeah, so, you know, I can kind of... now that we're out of the laning phase and the questions I had about Leona's ability to survive through the laning phase are done, I can kind of see the value of the pick. And it looks like Martin is going to build his Caitlyn the way I appreciate Caitlyn builds, as in working his way towards an attack speed item before finishing the Infinity Edge. But we'll find out. So, it looks like, are there any, okay, so, Lung and Luguo going at it, and it looks like Luguo, for once, is not winning these trades, but, and Lung has help from Lee Sin. Nice flash slice dice, but that's a flash auto attack from Shen, and Luguo is punished for overextending again. And that time, it didn't even look like he was particularly winning the trade with the Shen. So it looks like we may have finally found the solution to dealing with Luguo's Renekton. Bring your jungler. It helps. So Yotu's going to work his way up. It looks like Alone and Destiny have worked their way up towards this turret, and he's spotted on a ward. Syndra's on her way up too, so it looks like Martin and Caveman are going to be forced to recall. And this is going to be a turret. Yeah, look at all those Syndra balls ready and waiting for a wonderful target. And instead, they're just going to get this turret smartly backed away from by Vici. Don't want to do too much with that. And it doesn't look like they're going to get too much across the map to deal with that. Crash is going to take away the red buff, but there's no turret bot lane to deal with. Mid lane's not pushed up too much. And yeah, so we'll see. Now, based on how the turrets have shaken out, Vici have more control over the dragon side of the map with their turret down. And YG have more control over the Rift Herald side of the map. So if they're able to take this Rift Herald safely and deny it from Vici, looks like Vici might want to deny this. There's a ward in the pit. They know it's happening. But Caveman's the only one here. Lee Sin's rotating around, and there's only 2 people. Syndra's going to get there first, though. So I think Ultimate's going to push Yotu low. Oh, instead, we're going to engage all the way onto Syndra, who is going to be very, very dead. That is 4 people into 5 people in there. And now this has gone very poorly. Yotu's going to get a heal out, but that's going to be Rift Herald over to Vici Gaming. Nicely collapsed. They took just long enough to deal with that Vici could collapse and get there. And engaging onto Tank in the mid lane when he pressed up and tried to get aggressive. Oh, and look, and Yotu's going to just die to Ignite. All right. Do you remember what I said at like a minute into the game? Is I hate everything about Vici's draft, so they're going to win this game. Do we see it? I think we see it. So, Vici putting some pressure on the mid lane here. It looks like they took the Rift Herald back with them. I wonder if their plan's going to be to try and put pressure on mid lane tier 2 here. Luguo is going to match this turret, probably. Well, Caitlyn's going to get down here before this turret is dead, and Luguo's probably going to be forced away with him. But this is a big wave he's got. Yeah, he's going to be forced away from the turret. So that'll be a clean mid-turret for no response. But a bit of nice turret push by Luguo. So, Caveman's going to get a stun and just get in there and be annoying onto Destiny and Alone. But the damage is taking a while to get there. Crash is going to get stunned up. Luguo's into this fight now, and Crash is going low. Jin's channeling his ult, and is just going to get auto-attacked by... Oh, that was a really bad Jin ultimate. Caveman's still going to die first, but... Okay, nice damage coming in. Caitlyn still has her ultimate. If she can find a target for it, yeah, not going to happen. But, okay, so this is 4v5, and Vici are still willing to commit on the dragon because of the large health chunks gone. No ultimate on Jin, no health on Jin. Still pretty aggressive. Cleanse out from Easy Hoon on the Cinder stun. Hit by the root. But Infernal Drake confirmed for them. Looks like they're going to be able to get out okay. So, okay. Step back, breathe. Caveman, to his is clearly showing his Heart of Leona player in diving in completely alone by himself. Easy Hoon is just barely not going to be able to save that turret. Easy Hoon is going to flash in Invictor ult. That is going to get probably not actually kill anyone. Stunned up. Tank's going to kill Crash. Tank's going to go down in response. 1 for 1 so far. And Yotu's probably going to die eventually. There's a Leona on him. Yeah, that's 2 kills for Easy Hoon. So, alright, 2 for 1. We're into the heavy skirmish now. This is what you expect when there's a Leona in the game. And Caveman has clearly shown his propensity to go in at a moment's notice now that he's been unleashed from the laning phase. So, alright, here's a replay of what just happened. Crash goes in, gets Cinder ulted up, and is just kind of going to die to a Cinder flash Q. I mean, and Tank's going to pay for it because he's going to get Cinder ulted, and then not entirely worth, but it feels like a bit of an overstay by the 2 of them. And I guess good bait by Easy Hoon to ult 4 people for no response, but messy, messy, messy. Okay. Every summoner except for Lung's flash is down on Vici. And every summoner except for Tank's Ghost is down on YG. So that was fun. So, here's the Rift Herald in the top lane. This turret is at like 3/4 health. Now, no wave here yet. And it looks like 3 people are going to be able to collapse on this. So Rift Herald's not going to be able to do much, but she is going to help this turret go down much faster. So she's going to trundle her way down lane and meet her untimely demise at the hands of Syndra and Zyra and crew. But she did her job, got the outer turret down. That's 3 outer turrets down. For Vici, they are the first one to that mark. And Renekton's probably going to match that in not too much time in bottom lane. But his split push hasn't been nearly as threatening this game as it was in Game 1 or even in Game 2. Alright, that's a stun on the tank. That's a lot of CC on the tank. That's a very dead tank. Now, Crash might go down in response. Leona gets in and blocks the Spiderling from coming up and killing him. Probably wouldn't have killed him, but still can't be too careful. And Martin's putting some serious pressure onto this mid lane turret with dead Syndra. Now, this is... Now, yep. So, Victor Alt's going to kind of meander around. Man, I haven't really been impressed with either mid laner that much this game. Easy Hoon's done what he's needed to do. And a superior wave clear with dead Syndra is going to lead to that mid lane tier 2 going down for Vici, who now, like, we've seen like 3,000 or 4,000 gold leads get blown open by a Baron take after a fight in both of the first 2 games. This is a 6,000 gold lead. This is a much more conclusive lead by Vici, and this is the Vici I expected to see tonight. Much, much better series. Yeah, Easy Hoon, I can't complain too much. He's 202 on the Victor, but it feels like his ultimates haven't been the most impactful yet. What is he building? And why is it not a Crystal Scepter? Maybe Abyssal? Maybe Abyssal? Does Abyssal have the lasting one in it? No, Abyssal has cooldown book in it. I don't know what he's building. Whatever. Building stay alive from Syndra, basically. Yeah, so Vici looked in pretty comfortable control of this game. All things said and done. And when we were in this situation in Game 1, YG's win condition that they worked with was the extremely winning split push. And this time, we've got the Renekton, and he's in lane. Alright, get back to that point in a bit. Easy Hoon's going to get tagged by 1, 2, 3. Cleanses out of the slow, but is maybe going to get away. Alright, he's just going to walk away. So the cleanse out of the slow didn't actually stop the 4th shot from hitting him, but it wasn't enough damage to kill him, and the follow-up damage just couldn't reach him in time. So, I guess worth because you force him out of lane, but why not? Yeah, he's not building. Yeah, he's not building Abyssal. Yeah, that was the thing I thought at first, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't do that anymore. All right, Caveman is gonna get caught by the grasping roots, but he kind of doesn't care. Let's look at this Leona build. What's this got? That looks probably like it's going into a redemption next. Surprise, surprise. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate the 3-2-5 Leona on Caveman? Oh yeah, there's a needless in there. That's going to Rabadon. I want to complain for a little bit about the lack of control wards in Vici's inventory. Crash, I hope, just placed his. I don't know what the Doran's Ring's doing for Easy Hoon at 23 minutes, but could have a control ward in that place. Sport doesn't have any. Yeah, could be better. Not that it's much better on the other side, although Destiny just picked a couple of them up since I was complaining, but could be better. That's a teleport coming in into Easy Hoon, who's going to get a real early stand united and flash out of the way of that. Now, Crash is in the back line. Nice flash out of the way from Tank, but that is a 2-man stun on the 2 priority targets, and that is a lot of dead people on YG. All of their damage is dead at this point. So, Martin is now flashing forward aggressively, gets exhausted late. Luguo is eventually going to die back here, but meanwhile, Martin's going to flash... Through his flash is going to clean up the 4th kill of that fight. Destiny's the only one alive. Baron is going to go down for Vici Gaming. This will be over a 10,000 gold lead, probably at about 24 minutes into the game, and we should be done. See, this is what I expected Vici Gaming to look like tonight. This is what they looked like last night. Game 2 did not look like this. So, nice recovery, no tilt, and yeah, that is a clean 5-man Baron. And Lee Sin, I think, is going to be able to get to that Infernal Drake first. So this is going to be a double Infernal Drake on this team with a lot of damage and a Caitlyn and Victor that are scaling up nicely. So yeah, the Leona MVP of that. Two-man stun onto the 2 highest priority targets on YG's team comp. And at that point, the fight's just over. Caitlyn flashes aggressively, kills somebody through exhaust, and Luguo, like, he's doing the best he can, but he's into 3 people. So, nice. Credit to Caveman. We doubted, but Leona just won that fight single-handedly. Alright, Crash and Luguo are going to be fighting in the jungle. Luguo's going to get pretty annihilated by that Caitlyn shot and is just dead. That was a big old crit coming in from Martin, and now this is a problem because your split pusher's dead. And this is a 4-man strong push coming into the bot lane from Vici, and Grasping Roots is going to come in, chained onto Lee Sin, going to dodge out of the way of the stun from Syndra, but alright, there's the Jhin ult. Caveman's just going to kind of stand there and live through most of it. Needs to stand in front of Martin, doesn't even hit the 4th shot, nicely juked. Caveman is going to live through the Syndra ult. Jhin W is blocked, Caveman sticking around as a bold move, channels the redemption for his teammates, and meanwhile Shen is pushing in the mid lane. I don't think they're going to be able to stay for this. We'll see if they're going to be able to stay to take either inhibitor, but this mid lane inhibitor turret's going to take a little bit of damage before the team rotates around. Oh, and meanwhile, the rotation happened, and Martin and EasyHoon just kind of stuck around bot lane. There's the inhibitor gone. Probably not the best distribution of resources from YG, who appear to be kind of out of this. I can't believe that Cocoon missed Martin, but it sure did. Yeah, this Caitlyn is terrifying right now. Caitlyn's gone a thing that I saw a couple times last night, which is higher burst on her individual auto attacks rather than going for the AoE in team fights by going for the static shiv first instead of going for the Runaan's Hurricane. So that explains why her initial auto attacks in fights are hitting like absolute monsters. So yeah, this turned into a massive and conclusive gold lead for Vici Gaming, and with double Infernal, they have all the scaling they could want. They have a Victor who's on who's got a completed Hex score and a Rabadon's Death Cap and not much else, which is gonna hit like an absolute truck. And yeah, I don't see much of a comeback in this for YG. This is going to be a Tier 2 turret in the top lane, the last Tier 2 turret of the game taken without contest. Looks like Baron buff has a little bit left on it, but Vici are going to elect not to stick around. And they've got everything they could ever ask for. All the wave control, all the vision control. Now, in Game 1, they chose not to over-aggressively push without Baron and just throttled the life out of YG by keeping vision control before taking the Baron, and ended up just winning a team fight and pushing it down mid. But we'll see if they are as controlled in their approach this game as they were in that game. So, Baron went down at about 24 minutes, so we should have about 3 minutes until the next Baron. And meanwhile, this Baron hasn't even expired yet, so although it should be about down, I don't think they're going to be able to actually take any more advantages off this. Looks like some final Baron enhanced recalls have come in, and yeah, Victor got the, looks like he's just going to sit on that Negatron cloak for a while and just not die to Cinder ult, which that's a fair point. Because he's gone the Haunting guys, and looks like he's going for the Leander's Torment as a third item, which is definitely risen in priority as a mid lane item. We've see it on Syndra here, seen it on Victor, seen it on Talia's, obviously. Lots and lots of people. Lugo dashes in, takes an aggressive trade that doesn't go particularly well for him. Is forced back to base at 1,000 health with his tail between his legs. Oh yeah, and that is now a 4-item Caitlyn, who has the beauty of Caitlyn with, oh, she's going to get Shen ulted and not actually take that much damage. Jhin ultimate gets channeled. He's relatively safe back there. It looks like Vici are going to kind of just ignore it, sit in the redemption. Turret's not going to go down, but Martin, as soon as he gets his energized proc again, can just hit that turret from outside its range with Caitlyn with a... Oh, Tank's going to walk into Victor ult and basically die. That's a Victor ult crit onto Alone that half-shots him. Meanwhile, a lot of CC in here. Caveman's going to die. Martin is in trouble, and Martin might go down. Nope, kites it out pretty well. Lugwo, is gonna get stayed far away from by Martin. Is going to go down. That's everybody but Tank dead. That's one inhibitor down. There's already a wave on the Nexus turrets from bot lane. And that looks like it's about going to be at Alone in Destiny or up. Alright, last chance to win. Flash taunt onto the Jhin. Goodbye, Jhin. We will miss you. Nicely played by Long to lock him down with the CC. And the 4 members of Vici are going to make this GG and push their way into the quarterfinals of Demacia Cup. Nicely played by Vici Gaming. Take game 3. Yep. Caveman, MVP on the Leona pick that I hated on for like 10 minutes. Never doubt. Okay, reading back through chat, I see 358646 telling me that Crash kicked them both into Leona, like, kicked them both so that they were CC'd at 4 the Leona ult to hit. I totally missed that. Good eye on you. Nice spot. Excellently done. Yeah, Ryukurai, you're exactly right. I have no idea. But this time, I called it, though, right? I called that. I totally hated Vici's draft, which means they're going to stop the game. And they did. So, I got that part of the prediction right. What a ridiculous thing. We're going to stick around in the mainstream until they show us the support-flavored MVP of Game 3, I certainly hope. I mean, Caveman was leading his team in KDA for a while. That... you don't see... Dr. Greencat, the thing is they won lane with this exact lane last game. So I couldn't really hate that much on the Jhin pick after they locked it in for Game 3. But yeah, when you have that much hard CC that can get in on your face, as Jhin, it's kind of a problem. But, so, I guess credit to the Leona pick. So, should be about to see our MVP in not too much time, I'm gonna guess. And we're gonna see what happens. But I hope that it's Leona. I think she deserves it. Although Crash did play a really good game. Alright, here's our MVP for Game 3. Alright, they're gonna give it to Crash, which is fair. So Dr. Green, no, who had Lee Sin hitting the ult? 358846. Shout out to you. You called it better than I did. Nice spot on the Lee Sin kick, and yeah, nicely played by Crash. 0-2 and 11 on the game. Just really excellent game all around. Can't say excellent series though, because that game 2 was disappointing, shall we say, from Vici. They really didn't do much right, and while there were some good calls happening from YG, the Baron call at 20 minutes was really impressive. But all right, here's some highlights of the game. Here's Alone, and by Alone I mean Destiny. Destiny taking the shot for ADC to prevent him from also dying. All right, this is the fight that I thought EasyHoon baited his team in that turns into 2 kills for them. Because Tank flashes in to get the kill, which I respect, but you're flashing into a Leona. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so there's the kick. Yeah, and they couldn't get out of the way in time of the kick. Stunned up, get both of them in the stun portion of Leona ult rather than just the slow portion. And yeah, once the carries are out of that fight, this is just a totally lost fight. And I mean, it was already like a 6,000 or 7,000 gold lead going into this fight, but this just totally blew the game out of proportions. Yeah, and also over 100 viewers is totally unreal. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching Chinese League of Legends, because it's so much fun. And we are gonna get ready for our next series, which will be Jingdong Gaming against LGD Gaming, which should be a lot of fun. And while this was two of the stronger LSPL teams, I'll say that I think Vici will be the strongest LSPL team this year. This is 2 real LPL teams against each other, and Jingdong and LGD against each other. GD Gaming, Game 1. Okay, there's the overlay upgraded because I didn't forget. It is okay. So it is patch. I remembered this and I did some research on this. Thank you, Kelsey Mosier. Shout out to Kelsey. If you don't follow her, what are you doing watching Chinese League? The patch is 7.9, but it is after the hot fixes to nerf Sejuani and buff Zac. So that's the important thing. We haven't seen either of them picked much. Sejuani not at all. Zac only picked once by a Voidless last night. It was cool to kind of see new Zac in action. It worked pretty well. But yeah, so it is definitely 7.9. I think that this is well, For one, because there are the way I've seen 3 or 4 top tier junglers in this meta, depending on whether your jungler plays Ivern or not, um, there isn't as much need for it, and players have reverted to the comfort picks from Spring Split, which are obviously like Rengar and Kha'Zix were meta for so much of Spring Split that those were developed into being real comfort picks for a lot of the junglers in the league. Um, oh god, the Chinese stream is going to show the Phoenix 1v4 against CLG, and I'm going to be tilted forever. Um, but as far as not seeing more Zac, I think that even with the hot fixes that came in 7-9, it wasn't until 7-10 that he was strong enough to see play. I love seeing Zac in pro play because he brings so much interesting potential to engage range and to gank patterns. So I'm hoping we're going to see more of him, but we'll find out. So I'm gonna not look at chat for a bit, so if you guys get into chat and don't mind me, I'm going to make a tweet that our next game is coming up in about 10 minutes. Nice win by Vici in the end. Slop into a side. About 10 minutes away from LGD Gaming versus doo-doo. Yeah, and in case you haven't looked at the bracket, Vici will now get to face EDG and get a crack at a current LPL team. I don't think I'm offline. I don't look like I'm offline. If in the predictions I wrote up on Reddit and Twitter prior to the series today, I called 2-0 for Vici, which obviously didn't work because they kind of fed really hard game 2. And I didn't think I put a score on it, but I did call LGD winning. I think I'll take LGD 2-1. They looked in really good form a couple days ago when they played against who'd they play? Oh, they played Dan, new LPL team, Dan Gaming. And don't get me wrong, I love Doinby, but man, if Imp and PYL are on form, they're one of the better bottom lanes in LPL, period. Like, also, Doinby isn't hard carrying off mid Karma, which is all I've seen him play so far this week. I love Doinby, don't get me wrong. Karma is one of my favorite champions to watch and play in the mid lane, but I love Shogu Reapers, which therefore means I love Jingdong, but I think LGD look really strong. But this is the thing, and I wrote about it. Picking LGD is a dangerous game to play. Alright, let's take a look at Reddit. Because we look at Reddit during the downtime, or at least I do. Tempo Storm, new roster. Quas Wiggly. Oh, Tempo Storm signed Selfie. Okay. I'm assuming someone answered that I'm not an official stream. Someone getting on the snake chans in the snake fans in the comments. Just rebroadcasting. There is no official English stream. Links to the Chinese streams are here or here. Cool. I'm all the way up to 22 upvotes. Go me. Yeah, 187 Juggernaut, I feel you. I also only know English, which is why I'm here. Because I figured there were other people like me who only know English and also want to watch these games. How's my water? I'm good on water, I'm good on soda. Okay, I should pull up my eSportspedia pages for these two teams. Which is LGD and Jingdong. And I need those two tabs, and I can look at this tab. There's the bracket. In case you were wondering, the winner of this game goes on to play Royal Never Give Up. So I'm actually going to add a few more details to my overlay while we are waiting on our next game to start. The Chinese stream is just coming back from break. Okay, cool. There's those updated. And I'm gonna pull this back up, and I'm gonna full screen this. Yep. So that I can swap between the two. And do. Oh, I'm on the second page. I'll take that. Okay, back to the chat. Or just no sound. So our next matchup, as you can see on the screen, is Jingdong Gaming and LGD Gaming. In case any of you were in chat are not familiar with who Jingdong Gaming are, if you are familiar with Xiaogu Reapers, that is them. Jingdong are I believe the second largest e-commerce site in China. They purchased the Xiaogu Reapers roster and a challenger team, an LSPL team whose name I have forgotten. Their roster, let's see, they still have Duanbi, they still have Clid, although Clid was benched after game 1 of their series, which they lost, and they brought in Jingyi, who had one of the most impressive Ivern games that I've seen, so I'll be interested to see which one of them starts. And then they also benched, oh, we're going to look at the team player profile, so we'll see who comes first. But here indeed is Jingdong Gaming in the top lane. Kabe in the jungle. They are going to start Clid over Jinyi today. Mid lane Duanbi, ADC Barrett, and support Mao. So this is the same roster they started with yesterday. After game 1, which they lost, they brought in former ESC ever AD carry Loken, and they brought in Jinyi over Clid, which what that is that's swapping who their two Koreans are, because obviously every team in the world has the 2 import slot rule. So Duanbi is their one Korean that plays regularly, and they have a Korean. They have Loken as the Korean AD, and they have Clid, who's the Korean jungle. So they can use either the AD or the jungle. They can't play them both. And so they're starting with Clid in the jungle and Barrett as an ADC, and I know nothing. Barrett is a player who I know absolutely nothing about. I'm assuming he's a rookie player. And on the other side, we probably have some much more familiar faces to longtime Chinese League of Legends fans. It's LGD Gaming. In the top lane, Jinu. In the jungle, Amy. Mid lane, Cool. And in the bot lane, Imp and PYL. So, for those of you who may have missed this in the offseason, Cool was transferred from Newbie to LGD and is starting over Godv, Wayless, whatever you want to call him, who is, last I believe I heard, taking the split off to